What a time to be alive and explore photography, right? We've been seeing a bunch of extremely affordable lenses lately from the likes of Meike, 7 Artisans, Yongnuo, and others. And it's nice to have some budget options, especially if you're still trying to figure out your favorite focal length and general photography genre. But in today's video, we're going to take a look at the Meike 50mm 1.8, and for its price, you'll be hard-pressed to look for a better value than this when it comes to the Nifty 50. I recently brought this on our Singapore trip, and I'm absolutely happy that I did because this thing more than exceeded my expectations. Here, let me share with you 5 reasons why you should get the Meike 50mm 1.8 and also a few things to consider. With that said, let's get into it. Before anything else, as always, honest disclaimer, this video is not paid, but Meike did send a review sample for me to experience. They will not see this video or even my script prior to release. Locally here in the Philippines, you can get this via GU Superstore, and I put some links below just in case. Now, the first reason is probably enough to make you consider this lens because it's not much at all, and that is its incredibly affordable price. Here in the Philippines, you can get this for as low as 8,199 Philippine pesos or roughly around $140 US. And for that price, you can get this kind of photos with outstanding autofocus performance, decent image quality with workable image character, and fair build quality with a few features that are also available on some more expensive options like a dedicated AF/MF switch, some sort of weather sealing with a good amount of rubber gasket, and a modern USB Type-C port for firmware updates. I mean, if you're looking for a Nifty 50 but you're still on the fence if you really need one, you can probably just try out this lens without breaking your bank and decide later if you're going to keep it or not. It's not much of an investment compared to other more expensive options. I've been in that situation before where I bought a quite expensive lens only to realize in the long run that it's not really what I was looking for. So yeah. The second reason why you have to consider the Meike 50mm 1.8 is its outstanding autofocus performance. It's not as immaculate as most native Sony lenses, but for what it's worth, you're getting a pretty reliable autofocus performance with a fairly silent motor. Just listen to this, it's barely audible. Now, I usually add some sort of skin softening for my on-cam recordings, but for the sake of this test and for you guys, I'm willing to show you how sharp this lens is, and as you can tell, all of my imperfections are quite apparent and the autofocus performance with eye tracking is pretty spot on. It does bounce a bit with touch focusing, but it's quick to grab focus with pretty sharp image quality, though with a noticeable amount of focus breathing. Now, panning focus in continuous AF mode is noticeably better. I also had a pretty decent experience with burst shots in continuous AF mode for still photos, shooting our highly energetic toddler, so I would say autofocus performance is really one of its strong points. The third reason why the Meike 50mm 1.8 is one of the best bang for the buck Nifty 50 out in the market is the fact that they were still able to squeeze in a few features that are also available on more expensive lenses. As I alluded to earlier, it has a dedicated AF/MF switch, a substantial rubber gasket for weather sealing, and a modern USB Type-C port which even some more expensive lenses out on the market don't have. Now, the fourth reason why the Meike 50mm 1.8 is a good option for both video and photo is the fact that it has a quite large focusing ring, albeit made out of plastic. More about the build quality later, but yeah, having a large focusing ring makes things easier, and partner that with a dedicated AF/MF switch, not to mention the outstanding autofocus performance, it's easy to make your subject in focus in any mode you desire. Last but not the least, and where we'll spend most of our time discussing about this lens, is its optical quality, and let's add its image character as well while we're at it. I mean, it's not the most perfect lens ever in terms of image quality, but for what you're paying for, most of its shortcomings are fixable in post, so yeah. Now, before I share with you a ton of real-world samples, let's get the boring but equally important stuff first. Honest disclaimer, I printed out this test chart and it's not the sharpest print ever, but still, you'll get a good idea about the difference in sharpness in various f-stops. Starting at f1.8 wide open, I'd say the sharpness is pretty decent, with a noticeable vignetting that starts to go away at f2.8. More on that later. Center sharpness is pretty good wide open, but it starts to really get better at f2.8, including the overall contrast. It gets even better at f4.0, and at 5.6 to f8, it's basically tack sharp. Now, I noticed that even at f10 and f11, it's still pretty sharp, with not much diffraction, which becomes apparent at f16. In terms of corner sharpness, it's noticeably soft at wide open f1.8, gets better at f2.8 to f4.0, and starts to become usable at f5.6. You can also see here some noticeable chromatic aberrations. It has a noticeable pincushion distortion and like I said, some vignetting wide open but are quite easy to fix in post. At f2.8, the vignetting is basically gone, which is pretty outstanding. Now it features 7 groups, 11 elements with 9 aperture blades, resulting in some pleasing circular bokeh with minimal imperfections and essentially no onion rings and ghosting, albeit with some cat's eye around the corners. Sunstars are not as uniform as I would like, but they look pretty good when you snap down all the way to f16. Now longitudinal chromatic aberrations are fairly noticeable, but since the minimum focusing distance of this lens is quite far, you will barely notice it unless you zoom in or crop into the image. Lens flare without the hood is apparent, but it looks nice and not obnoxious at all. No complaints here. By the way, please consider subscribing if you find this video informative. It will help me and the channel a lot. If not, a like would be very much appreciated. Now before I share with you some of the things that you need to consider before getting the Meiki 50mm 1.8, here are more real-world sample photos for you guys. I really had a great time shooting our toddler using this lens because with the 50mm focal length, it's really pleasing for portrait shots and not as obtrusive for candid shots compared to let's say a 35mm or wider. Though sometimes I wish I also had an 85mm or longer for a better chance of capturing candid shots, because even with the 50mm, sometimes my toddler catches me taking a picture of him and either he makes some silly faces or just runs away. It's a total chaos. This lens is also great for capturing still life, and even though we saw some pincushion distortion, I honestly don't notice that at all in real-world photos, unless maybe I shoot architectures, but like I said, it's easy to fix in post just in case. I also appreciate this lens for street photography. The focal length and compression it provides are just enough to provide a near-perfect normal view of the environment. I would still love to try the Meiki 85mm 1.8 though for street photography, maybe in the future. The bokeh and background separation in real world I would say is pretty decent, and in most situations, depending on how busy the environment, focus fall off can also get pretty soft and gradual, which is nice. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this lens, considering how affordable it is, and I had a lot of fun shooting with this on our trip to Singapore. I was even able to shoot some landscape shots with it. However, at this price point, it is far from perfect, so let me share with you the things that I'm not fond of about this lens. First is the minimum focusing distance. With an MFD of around 0.63 meters or 24.8 inches, it's one of the farthest minimum focus distance that I've tried in a lens, and that's quite limiting to be perfectly honest with you. Sometimes I want to go closer to my subject for more compression and background bokeh, but it's simply not possible, and this is something that you need to get used to over time. Second is the size and weight. It's probably one of the biggest 50mm 1.8 lenses out in the market. It's as big as my Tamron 20-40mm f2.8, which by the way is a zoom lens, and is heavier at around 382 grams. I don't think it's a deal breaker considering the price, but I just have to point it out. And lastly is the build quality. It's an affordable lens with an outer build construction made mostly out of plastic. Even the massive focus ring is made of plastic. It doesn't feel cheap and it doesn't look like it's easy to break, but I would definitely be careful with it compared to my other lenses. Again, it's not a deal breaker, but something you need to consider depending on your shooting environments. Now, before I share with you my final thoughts, in terms of the unboxing experience, it came in a white box with some details around it, especially the specifications, which you can take a screenshot of if you want. Inside the box, we have a foam cover, the lens itself, and a couple of paperwork. It does include a plastic lens hood, nothing spectacular, but definitely useful in some situations. It has a 58mm filter thread, and like I said earlier, a USB Type-C port and a red rubber gasket. It has a Meiki 50mm 1.8 branding here, the AF/MF switch, and the massive focusing ring. And here's how it looks with the lens hood attached. As you can tell, it's really quite massive for a 50mm 1.8 lens. Overall, to conclude, I stand by my statement that this is one of the best bang for the buck 50mm 1.8 lens, or any lens for that matter. The image quality is pretty good, the autofocus performance is outstanding, and it has a few features that you otherwise won't have at this price point. The icing on the cake is the fact that it is just $140, which is unbeatable for what this lens has to offer. And there you have it guys, thank you for watching. Huge thanks to Meiki and JG Superstore for sending this in. You can get this using the links below. I wish I could also try and test the Pro version of this, which was recently released, the 55mm f1.8 Pro, or maybe even the 85mm 1.8. We'll see. Now, if you're looking for one of the best macro lenses for the Sony E-mount system, make sure to watch my review of the new Tamron 90mm f2.8 macro. Thank you for watching, subscribe if you appreciate this video, and see you next time. Have a great day guys, you're awesome.